Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a horoscope message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the chariot, and we're gonna go ahead and just knock, 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 see if these spirits will let us in. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Absolutely. Okay. So I have this feeling of it almost is that I feel like it's like vacillating between feeling very close to family, feeling a sense of really connecting with your family unit, not just a spouse and a child, but parents, siblings. I think that you have a pretty close-knit family, but there seems to be this sense of, at times at least, feeling a little bit like you're being taken advantage of. Okay, you're just kind of expected to put down whatever's going on in your life to show up and kind of fix things for other people, right? And I see we have a person standing here with a bowl, right? And it might look like almost like a servant, right? But to me, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing somebody who is in their devotion, who is making an offering. And I feel like in some way, it's almost kind of like you've spent a lot of your life giving of yourself because you love the people around you. And it doesn't feel like some meaningless thing or, I've put all this effort into something and gotten nothing in return. No, this is your family, and there is love, and it is mutual, and it is something that is very important to you. But I also think that there's this little bit of wanting to fill something up within self, right? I think that at times you can get into this place of giving so much of your time, your efforts, your attention, maybe even resources monetarily to other people, and it makes you feel good, but to your detriment. And it doesn't fix that thing, right? That thing that you're searching for. And I feel that you're coming into a place of really understanding that maybe this need to give of self, or the instinct, right, has a lot to do with filling up your own cup, And what do I mean by that? Well, yeah, instead of giving every ounce of your energy to work and kids and you know, aging parents and whatever, your many responsibilities, right? I know you have them. We all do. And here there is a calling to maybe look at some of the things that you are responsible for, the things that you take on, if anybody has asked you or not, right? And go over this list and make kind of some priorities there. And I think where you can alleviate some of this busyness, if that is possible, yeah, it's not to make room for more stuff to be put on your plate, right? But I think for you to give yourself some time, maybe for the first time in a long time, to focus on you, your needs. But not only your needs, your relationship to the divine. And that's what really stands out to me, is that there is this wanting for love, for closeness, for feeling a greater attachment to something outside of yourself, or at least perceivably outside of yourself. And we all have that, right? Well, at least most of us. Some to varying degree. Some of us are just insatiable, right? And others maybe a little more tempered. But I feel that so often we look for this divine connection. And I'm not saying you have to find a religion, or it's God or goddess, or, you know, some kind of icon or movement, school of thought. It doesn't have to be any of those things, but to find some higher purpose, meaning, something that feeds you, feeds your soul, right? And so I see you in this place of kind of coming to an understanding that where you might feel like you are lacking something in your life, or you're searching and you look for that in other people and things, and you know, the busyness of your life, here you are coming into a revelation. The eyes are opening, right? All three of them. And I feel like you are very much in this place of devoting yourself to this work. And now at the beginning, it might not feel like it changes very much, but it will. It will. Now behind, we have a person holding a scythe. You can see, kind of looks like a goat, wearing a robe, holding a scythe, holding a goat, right? Maybe a culling. But I do feel that this also coincides with possibly the remembering of our mortality, right? For death to be so very close. And there are periods of time in our life where, yeah, we're acutely aware of this. And this might be that somebody has passed, that there is a atmosphere of grief or you know, just the brutal clarity of the shortness of all things, and, you know, our ever-changing state. But I think it is. It's maybe, well, if you're in the northern hemisphere, especially, we're going into autumn, right? At least where I'm at, the trees are already changing. The morning smells like fall. And it's apparent, it's coming, right? That thing is coming. Winter, winter, winter. And one can't help but contemplate the changes, the seasons of life. And so I do. I think that this is a place where, yeah, maybe it's kind of like, what have I been doing recently? What's been going on with my life? Not that it is not, you know, meaningful, successful, of great importance. Of course, these things can be true, and we can also really kind of step back and look and see, like, okay, well, I've done pretty good where I have, you know, set my goals, where I've accomplished these things, but I also know that something here is missing. There's some fragment of something. And I think often those who come and watch these kinds of readings or tarot readings, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. Go and check out his channel. My husband Paul is amazing. He absolutely is. But yeah, watching these kinds of things, then you have some curiosity about life, about what's beneath all of this. What does it mean to be alive, to be human, to be, you know, on a spiritual path, or beginning a spiritual path? How to have a better life, how to look for the signs, the symbols, the, you know, the blessings. And so I feel as we turn deeper into this thing, I feel there is a connection here. We have two people very close to each other. We have a boat beneath the moon. And so as you kind of come into this place, right, where you start to see, I've been giving a lot of my time, a lot of my effort, my energies to all of this, to everybody in my life. And I don't think that you lament it, but you are realizing, like, I just haven't had time for myself. I haven't done anything for myself in so long. And now I'm realizing, I'm coming to this very clear place of, I need something for myself. And as you get out there, I feel that it's almost kind of like taking a veil off of a light. Now, I'm not saying that everything has been shrouded in darkness. No. If you could imagine, and I'm thinking of my sister, because she probably still does this. If you've ever seen somebody put a scarf over a lamp to color the room, right? This is the old school. I don't recommend this at home because it's not safe. But back in the day, we didn't have all these cool projector lights to like change the room to red or whatever. You put a scarf over the lamp, right? And the light, although not obscured, of course it would be different, quite different. And I feel like it's like pulling that off. And your light is bright. And when your light is bright like that, you're going to attract, hopefully, right? Attract people on the same frequency. And I do. I think as you are doing this work, you're going to meet somebody. And I'm looking at this. Look at them. They look like they're hand in hand talking. Okay? And I feel that you're going to meet somebody who you have a great bond with. Now, this might be romantic. I have a little bit of an inkling that this will be at least emotionally romantic. Okay? And I just feel the pull. I feel like, you are focused on this work. You're focused on really being in your spiritual practices, your religious practices. And then this person comes into your life and it's almost kind of like, okay, dare I give this any of my energy, because it could be quite distractive. And maybe this is put in my way. So, it's kind of a little mini ordeal to see how I react. Or maybe, I've come into this new place in my life and I'm kind of trying to change some of how I'm living and what is important to me. And now it has opened a door so that I might meet my soulmate. And that could be. I think it's very common in these times of transition when we are emitting so much energy, so much light, that we pull people in and they pull us in. Now, I want to do our, what is it called? The Oracle of the Radiant Sun. Some of my favorite cards. I don't know if I'll ever stop using these ones. But we're going to use them for some clarity. Okay, I want to take a look. I want to see kind of what is the energy of this next period of time here. What is this going to look like? And I'm going to stop and turn this over. We have escape. Principle. Okay. Inspiration. All right. So I do feel like there is a little bit of, you're like in a very, you're a little bit reserved, right? I feel like there is this kind of, this feeling of it. I am changing my life. I'm working hard at it. And at times it maybe doesn't make that much sense to myself or to the people around me. I almost wonder if there's some kind of degree of cynicism coming from, maybe your kids or your family members. You're starting to go back to church, or, you're doing rituals or keeping an altar or whatever. And the people around you, although, probably very supportive, of course, and love you very much, maybe you're giving you a little bit of a hard time, right? And to kind of become aligned with somebody new in your life. And now it doesn't have to be romantic. Let me just say, this might not be romantic. You might be married and, very in a good relationship, very invested. But you meet somebody who can see you. Somebody who you feel like you came from the same planet, right? You're just two little aliens out here. And you finally found your people, right? And it could be a friend, a mentor, right? Or somebody who you will mentor. And I just feel like there's this energy of not wanting to be distracted from the work you're doing because you get so involved in it. But, and I think there's this question, is getting into this friendship, this relationship, this courtship, this, kindredness, is this part of the thing, or is this going to be like I'm escaping from the work I'm doing? Like it is, kind of a, not self-sabotage, but just, getting locked into something and then kind of abandoning where you had been headed towards, right? But I feel ultimately, and I know this of Aries, is that you do live by a lot of principles. You really might not follow exactly the agreed upon social constructs all the time, but I think that you're generally somebody who honors people. You're a humanitarian in a lot of ways. You are very aware of how other people feel and how your actions can affect other people, yourself and other people. And so I think you're, acutely aware of that, and you stand on your principles, okay, your convictions. And so I feel like there is, kind of, and we have this like real lunar energy. So I feel like there's kind of this loosening, like a need to kind of let things flow and maybe not over intellectualize. Why did I meet this person? Why did they show up right now? It feels so right, but like in my mind, I'm thinking, is this like a pitfall, right? Am I just going to end up doing the same thing I always do? Is this going to be something that deters me from the work at hand? But I do feel that ultimately, I think this is a person that is part of the work, right? And they might not be around forever, but right now, in this time where your paths have crossed and you are walking together, yeah, it's a blessing. There will be a lesson here. There will be love here. And so, ultimately lends itself greatly to inspiration. And I don't know about you, but when I feel connected, when I feel in love, and not just romantic love, again, when I'm in love with something, right? Something that is moving to me, something that transports me, something that I can get into, immerse myself in, I become very inspired. And I am selfish with these with these huge overtures of love and connection because, well, and I'm not a poet, but I have the heart of a poet, I would say. We're selfish. We hoard these, we hoard these feelings. And so I can see you finding your groove here, allowing yourself the ease to let it go. Let yourself just be in the moment, okay? Now, I know that we have the chariot energy, and so this is like big Cancer energy, but it's also, it's about hard work. It's about staying the course. And the duality here, right, is finding ease in this hard work, in this devotion to the thing that you have found for yourself, right? Not the person, but the spiritual work. And yeah, finding that perfect speed, because, right, if we go too fast, we're going to get to a place of like entropy, right? Where you get to your maximum velocity and things just start to fall apart a little bit, right? The wheel's just going so fast. It's smoke rising. It starts to just fall apart. It's just, you have spokes everywhere, right? Now you're going to crash. But if you're cruising, not forcing it too much, but it's still applying power, then you're going to be, moving along. Going pretty dang well. Steadily. And I think that's what it's all about. All right, let's see. We have GC as letters. We also have somebody who is, it looks like they're frolicking. Kind of frolicking through a field, possibly. Although, you know, I kind of get an energy of the desert. And I feel like you've been dreaming. You've been dreaming about the desert, or you've had a dream. I feel maybe that you are drawn to even visiting the desert. Or maybe it's a place of whatever it represents for you. Generally, I would say that the desert often represents, because it is an open, expansive, and arid place, that is that there's not a lot of moisture. So, of course, it feels kind of barren, although it is not usually, right? There's all kinds of things living in there that we remain unseen to us. It might be perceived as a place where spirit is lacking. But if you've spent any time in the desert, you know that God is everywhere. All through. And actually, it might be that we experience that divine even more intensely in these kinds of places that are of extreme, extreme temperatures, or, living in general, staying alive out there. And so I see you looking for this place. And I'm not saying you just don't get on a plane and just fly to the desert to look for God. Although, hey, that sounds pretty cool, honestly. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of it is the opening ceremony, right? It's the opening ceremony to this spiritual path that you are on. You are returning to the wilderness. Now, sometimes when people say they're out in the wilderness spiritually, it means you're far from God. Although I've never understood when people said that, because I say, man, if I'm in the wilderness, I'm in God's temple. It's all around me. I can't stop perceiving the divine. But what it might mean is that there is a separateness from the tribe. That there is a sense of acute awareness that you are an individual in this manifestation. You might feel like you are the loneliest soul in the universe when you are out in the wilderness. But this is an opportunity to relate to self. This is a place, a beginning. You've walked through a gateway, And now you are here and you have all of this opportunity to know thyself, to learn thyself. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Sometimes we have to get into these places where, life is a little bit disrupted. The normal comings and goings kind of cease, and we get a little bit out of our schedule, a little bit out of the comfort of consistency, and we begin something new. All right, let's take a look. We have our gratitude affirmation cards. I'm going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. It says, youthful resonance. I delight in the contagious merriment and pure wonder of children. Their innocent curiosity and easy joy resurrect memories of sweet simplicity. Practice. Think back to your favorite childhood memories. Relive the carefree happiness you experienced playing with friends, eating your favorite snack, or exploring new environments. Yes, absolutely. Having a 4-year-old is I mean, these last years, just watching this little, bright supernova of consciousness. I mean, it's nova when it's, I think that's when it's ending. Maybe not that, but just the bright bursts of a star, right? The first time you set your eyes on just pure beauty, right? I imagine it's kind of like, the first time you see the Grand Canyon in person or whatever. But watching somebody emerge, into this being of just wonder and excitement and learning so quickly, and it's amazing. It's amazing, and it reminds you we still all have the opportunity to continue to grow and change and evolve, and it's never too late. Absolutely not. I don't care if you're 20 years old, if you're 45 years old, or if you're 90 years old. There's always an opportunity to learn, to do things that are outside of your realm of understanding or experience, and that's the beauty of life, through and through. All right, Aries, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you'd like to if you'd like to leave a comment, yes, definitely do that. I read them all. I want to hear from you. I know the rest of the people on the channel would love to hear what you have to say as well. And if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comment section. Other than that, I want to tell you, I love you, I love you, I love you. We'll talk again in just a few days. Good night, good night, good night.